Oh! Hold on. There you go. Right there. Perfect. There you go. Listen to that. A true legend inside of the powerlifting community, John Cuck was born in 1946 in Kingston, Pennsylvania. As a dominant force in the powerlifting scene in the 1970s and 80s, Cuck set many national and world records, while also winning 3 IPF World Championships. As a competitor, John Cuck brought a noticeable intensity in a sport known for its intensity. Shunning the attention sought by many, Cuck would rarely speak at competitions, and he brought an unusual degree of focus and isolation to the experience. One old-timer of powerlifting, Jim Duggan, has a story about Cuck's unique behavior. I remember warming up with him. He had 2 high school kids with him, and they did his loading for him. He never touched a weight. He wouldn't speak to anyone. If you wanted to change the weight on the bar, you spoke to his flunkies who would relay any message to Cuck, while he sat on a bench and stared blankly ahead. Odd behavior, but I guess greatness makes its own rules. Known by powerlifting world champion Larry Pacifico as the mystery man of powerlifting, Cuck started lifting in high school as a way to bulk up for sports, and bulk up he did. His 5'11", 160-pound frame filled out to around 195 during those 3 years of training. However, it was while in the Marines that Cuck really started to train. In the same way we have seen one physical cultural great after another succeed under the tutelage of a mentor. In the Marines, Cuck was mentored by Sergeants Bill Floyd and Dave Bird. Cuck quickly took to the deadlift, and without much training, he was able to pull 500 pounds. Still, he struggled with hitting 200 pounds on the bench. While in the Marines, Cuck had his first powerlifting competition, winning the Southland Championships in Daytona Beach, Florida in January 1969. After his discharge from the Marines, Cuck had some issues with training due to the fact that his construction job made it difficult to train with the requisite intensity. Nevertheless, at the first World Championships in 1971, Cuck took third with a bench of 530, a squat of 755, and a deadlift of 820 for a total of 2,105 pounds. The second place finisher was the Scranton Strongman, Jim Williams, who we featured in an earlier Jailhouse Strong video. In a balance of opposites, the powerful bench presser and jovial ex-con Williams and the big deadlifter and taciturn ex-Marine Cuck became lifting partners and went off and dominate the weight pile over at the York Gym. In 1974, Cuck dropped to the 242-pound class and took first at the Senior Nationals over legends Doug Young and Terry McCormick. In the same year, he won the IPF world title. After a hiatus from powerlifting, during which he worked as a cook in a hospital, Cuck won the world title twice more in 79 and 80. In competition, his best lifts were as follows: squat 905, bench press 600, deadlift 870.8, and a total of 2,350 pounds. In his career, his aggregate total was 2,375.8 pounds. Away from competition, Cuck wrote a book called John Cuck Speaks on Powerlifting. It's said that these days Cuck collects old weapons and still trains regularly. Word on the street is that he's able to pull over 600 pounds. For more of these old stories, this history of physical culture, click subscribe.